I'm going to show you guys how I do my everyday makeup. So when I mean by everyday, I mean you could wear this every day. You could wear this to church, you could wear this to work, or you could just wear this out and about. It's not going to look very heavy. It's not going to look very noticeable. So after I draw my eyebrows on, I go in with my concealer. I use two different shades, and I like Pat McGrath. So I always put a lighter color underneath the arch of my brow just for that little pop of color. And then I use the shade that's closest to my skin at the front and the tail. As you can see, after I blended it out, it doesn't even look like I have on concealer. So that's the look that I'm going for because, again, this is everyday. So because this is everyday, I want eyeshadow color that's not going to be very noticeable. So I'm going in with my Juvia's Place. When you put on eyeshadow, you want to start on your eyelid, you want to pack it in, and then you want to buff it up towards your brow. Do not go directly underneath your brow unless that's the look you're going for. Go slightly a little bit underneath. So as you can see, it still looks like I don't have on makeup. So I know you noticed in the beginning of the video I had on color corrector because I do have hyperpigmentation. So I'm just taking a concealer and I'm placing that on top of that so that the red does not shine through once I put the foundation on. You honestly can't miss this step because, again, if you put it right on top of that color corrector, that red is going to show through and it's not going to be cute. So this is me going in with my foundation. I like Dior. You probably can't notice, but I have combination skin, meaning my T-zone is very oily, my cheeks are dry. This foundation is mattifying, so it helps me with keeping my oiliness intact. So I use two different shades. Both of them are neutral. And I'm just going to mix them together. So I'm going to place them in random spots on my face. And because this is an everyday look, if you feel like foundation is just too heavy, you can actually skip this step. You can just put concealer on your face in the areas that concealer goes. Um, and I am spraying my face with this Morphe setting spray because makeup is easier to blend once it's moist. So I'm just packing it into place. I'm not too much smearing it because remember I had on that color corrector. So I don't want to move the concealer off the top of it. I'm purposely leaving my forehead open because I'm going to put concealer there. That helps me to not feel like I have too much on my face. You want to drag it into your neckline, especially if your chest and your neck is going to be out once you do your makeup. So after I do that, I get my contour. This is Blitz by Milk. As you can see, it's not too much darker than my natural shade because, again, this is an everyday look. I don't want my makeup to be too, dramatic or out there like that. So I'm putting it on my nose, and notice I'm not dragging it all the way to the tip of my nose because I'm going to blend it out once I'm going to drag it down once I blend it out. And before I blend that out, I'm going with my concealer. This is NARS in the shade Truffle. It looks bright right now, but once I blend it out, it's not going to even really look like I got on makeup. So I'm just putting a little bit under my eye, a little bit on my forehead, a little bit on my chin. And you want your concealer to set a little bit to get that full coverage look. So I'm blending out my contour. When you blend out your contour underneath your cheeks, you want to blend it upwards. If you drag your contour down, it's going to make your face look droopy. Once you do the perimeter of your forehead, you want to drag it down towards the center of your forehead, and you also want to drag it up into your hairline. As you can see, I buffed out that contour on my nose, and it doesn't look heavy because I didn't drag it all the way down around my nose when I first put it on there. So again, I'm wetting my face because makeup blends better when it's moist. I'm tapping out the edge of my concealer first, and I'm dragging it into my contour because I want this to be seamless. And I'm basically just patting it out. And as you can see, as I'm blending it out, it doesn't look as bright as it did when I first put the concealer on there. So I'm just patting, blending, starting outward and then inward. So I'm doing my forehead. I'm bringing it up a little bit into that contour, going down my nose. If it's easier to get the 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 corner of your eye, you can use a beauty blender or a puff if the brush is hard. But as you can see, it still doesn't look like I have on a lot of makeup. So I'm taking that foundation brush now, and I'm kind of like marrying the two products together so it looks seamless. So I'm basically fusing the line between the concealer and the contour so there's no harsh lines. So that's what that looks like after I kind of marry them together. So usually I will put on a pressed powder, but because I don't want a lot of makeup on, I'm just going to use this setting powder. So I am like neutral cool. So this Sweet Honey by One Size works wonders. It looks really great on my skin tone. So as you notice, I'm not putting a lot on there, just enough, and I'm gently packing it in place. I'm not going to bake it. For you new beginners, whenever you put something wet or liquid down, you have to put a powder on top of it. If not, it's going to run, it's going to melt, it's going to smear everywhere. So wherever you put a liquid or a cream, you have to put powder on top. So I'm doing the same with my contour because my contour was liquid. So now I'm just putting the powder on top. If you want to skip the liquid contour, you can just put the bronzer or the powdered contour on top. That also minimizes you using a lot of products and minimizing you feeling like your face is heavy. So as you can see, everything looks natural. It doesn't look very heavy because the colors that I use were not super light or super dark. Everything is kind of like blended together. You also want to not curve, but carve the bottom of your cheekbones. I'm not putting a lot because I don't want a harsh line, just enough because, like I said, once it's wet, you have to put something dry on top of it. So no lashes for me today because, like I said, it's just the everyday look, and I just wasn't in the mood for lashes. So I'm just going to do some mascara and my eyelash curler. This is Maybelline. This is Maybelline mascara, but any mascara would do. Make sure you get your bottom lashes. It makes the makeup look better. If you don't feel comfortable doing your bottom lashes, that's fine as well. So this is the final look after I have set my face again. And the lip gloss that I have on is my lip gloss that I make. So this is the final look. It doesn't look heavy. It looks natural. So I thank you for watching. I hope this helped.